Hi, welcome back to the Cybakafe. My name is Femi as your host. As usual, I'm excited to speak with you once again. I hope you've been enjoying your online life safely. And here at Cybakafe, we speak tech in the everyday language for the everyday man. So let's get into it. Yeah, so today I would like us to talk about something very simple. Cybersecurity awareness training for employees in every business. So this is a concept that has been going around for a while and people are starting to take it very seriously, which is very encouraging. But if you are still wondering if this is important, or if you're wondering how to get it done, why should you get it done, and when should you get it done, this video is really about the detail of that. And so, right without further ado, cybersecurity awareness training for employees is simply the culture of training employees regularly about why cybersecurity is important and how they come in, what is their part in this whole thing. Because we know that cybersecurity is not only for the technical teams, but everyone in the organization. We always say it's a shared responsibility. Whatever you do or whatever you touch in your organization could impact or could improve the security posture of your organization. And so whether you are a tech lead, whether you are the CEO of the organization, or whether you are the head of information security, consider having these trainings regularly. So simply put, awareness training is going to revolve around teaching employees the skills to respond, the skills to recognize, the skills to report or to avert any risk or threat. So it will teach them how to recognize threats of all kinds. It will teach them what to do when they see one and where to report and how they impact the security of their organization. You may ask, what are the benefits of training employees, right? So because you might have a receptionist and that's the face of your organization. If they're not aware about the risk of cybersecurity, there could be a point which could be manipulated by a malicious user or a malicious actor. And so you want to have all your team members aware of cybersecurity. And so the points that you want to look at mainly include how to recognize phishing attacks. What is a phishing attack? What is a phishing email? What do I do when I have seen one? So those are very important things. You have to look at email security, for example. That's another area which all employees use emails and they could be impacted. So how can I securely use my emails? The third thing that you would want to teach your employees about is password security. How do I create strong passwords? How often do I change my passwords? Where do I keep my passwords? Things like that. And is my password across all my applications? You're also going to teach them about safe internet browsing. How do I securely visit the sites I want to visit? How do I use internet at home when I'm using work resources? How do I use a VPN? And why should I think about using a VPN? And the next thing that you want to talk about is mobile security. So we are having a lot of remote work these days, and every organization has different ways they're navigating the aftermath of COVID-19. So some organizations are still working from home, others have totally moved to remote working, others are still doing hybrid. So while you still have employees that are working from home, some of them might be using mobile devices to connect to company resources. So you need to look at mobile device security. You also want to emphasize the principles of data security and why is it important that everyone at where they're seated, they protect the data that is collected by the organization. So in terms of data protection, you want to look at how long are we keeping the data? How are we collecting the data? Which data are we collecting? This cuts across the developers who are making the applications, the business people that are creating these ideas. They need to be able to collect the data that is relevant. They can only learn these things through the trainings that you are doing as awareness trainings. So you have to expound on data protection and what are the consequences if these are not held. So this brings me to the next point, which is privacy and regulations. So those are things that you want to look at: privacy laws and compliance to them. Do you have a DPPO? These things will come through as you're training the people. And of course, you're not going to just forget about malware and ransomware attacks. You get into, not very technically, but you get into the idea of awakening them to the possibility of what could happen if a ransomware happened, how much the organization stands to lose if someone put a malware on someone's computer. So these are things that you will be expounding on in those trainings. And the purpose of it, like I said, is to equip these people with skills. So you're not trying to shame someone because they clicked on a link or because they failed a test. So you just want to keep equipping them and reminding them. So of course there are benefits to these trainings, and just to mention but a few, you will actually create a security culture, and this will improve how your team members respond to security related issues, even the developers, how they respond to adding security in your tools or in your applications, and everyone in the organization will consider security as part of whatever they do. Then you will empower your employees, right, to be able to hold each other accountable. Instead of them being a weak link, they will now become a human firewall. So they're the first line of defense for your organization. So these trainings will equip them and will enable them to protect your organization. In other words, you are actually building a firewall for yourself. Of course, you'll be compliant and to all the legal requirements. So when you do these awareness trainings, it helps you to also get in a place of being compliant, and that's another benefit of doing cybersecurity awareness training. And of course, at the end of the day, you will have a resilient organization against any cybersecurity related attacks. So consider your plan of awareness training and consider how many people you have in your organization. Consider how often people use their emails. Consider all the touch points and make sure you have a cybersecurity awareness plan. Now let's talk about how often do you have to do awareness training. So first, there are very many different models or different ways. None is better than the other. You have to choose what works for you. But the more regular, the better. This keeps cybersecurity on top of people's minds. So you can have quarterly trainings, or you can have reminders which are to be read by the organization employees and they can attest to it. You can set up challenges to help the employees have a gamified way of recognizing attacks, so they can be able to enjoy the process instead of reading long documents of cybersecurity details. So you can also have regular simulations of attacks. So you send out some sample attacks, or you send out regular phishing emails to see the click rate, how many people will fall prey, and each time these people fall into this trap, then you can put them back in a pool and organize a special training for them until they keep recognizing these emails even better. But even when you do this regularly, we have October as a cybersecurity awareness month. This is your opportunity to take advantage and do weekly sessions You can get a consultant to come and talk to your people. You can also organize sessions among yourselves and have games that are cybersecurity related. You can watch a video together and maybe discuss what it spoke to you. So you, October all through, you can just decide to have at least 4 sessions each week, and that's a way of also building a security culture as you dedicate some time to cybersecurity awareness. So it is for your own good, wherever you are seated, to equip yourself to understand this can impact you at home or in your organization. So if you are able to give this to your employees, please, that's kudos to you. But if you are still wondering if it's the right thing to do, if it's worth the investment, if it's worth the time, because I know these things can take some time, but as you do them, then they become easier. As you do them over time, they become easier on the ear. You start to understand what it's all about and why it's important. If there are any other benefits of cybersecurity awareness training, please share with us. How are you doing cybersecurity training at your organization? How would you like us to help in your cybersecurity journey? So if you would like to engage us on any of these conversations, we're here. Thank you very much. And until next time, this is the Cybakafe and my name is Femias. Bye.